In this video, I'm going to tell you the one feature that nobody talks about when it comes to picking the best web host for you, what the feature is, why you need it, and which web host I recommend you sign up for to get it. All right, guys, let's dive in. Hey, I'm John from IncomeMesh.com. I go online to help you find the perfect tool for your next project. And before we get into this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button, the bell, and leave a comment below to let me know what you're thinking and how you're enjoying my content. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. So what is this one feature that your web host really needs to have, and why is it so important? Well, that feature is not about daily backups. Most web hosts have those already, and there's many ways you can get backups working on your website. It's not just the caching plugins, because you can always get plugins that do caching and all this good stuff. What the feature is staging environments. Now, first of all, what is a staging environment? Well, the way that I like to think about it is if you have your website over here, and this is your website, and if you want to make a big change to this website, you don't really want to risk this website getting all ruined and messed up. So what you can do is use a staging environment, which basically makes a full clone of your website over here. So everything is the exact same. So we'll call this W2. And this is live on the internet, but it's in a place that's hidden away from your users, from your visitors. So this is what the visitor's eyeballs will see while you're making any changes over to this sandbox environment. So what's beneficial about this is that if you have a change and you love it and you're ready to go live with it, let's say you installed some big plugins or you have some new functionality, it's really important that you have an easy way to migrate this back over and replace your existing website with the new, the better version from your staging environment. Okay, so that's staging in a nutshell. But the real question is, why would you want to do this? What's the big benefit in using a staging environment? Well, there's several benefits. First of all, this entire inspiration for this video came from a YouTube comment where somebody asked me, hey, what do I do when my website starts getting totally wonky? It starts screwing up. I get plugin conflicts going on left, right, and center, and everything is just a mess. And I sat and I thought about, well, you can talk to your web host, you can talk to the plugin developer and all these things. But I think the first thing you should do is make sure that before you make a lot of big sweeping changes to your website, you test out the functionality in a staging environment. It's basically your sandbox where you can't really break anything too badly. And if you do break it, you can just destroy that staging environment and rinse, repeat, start over, and try again. So for those tinkerers out there, who I'm speaking to myself as well, you want to make sure if you're going to make a big change that may impact your business, that you work it in a staging environment first before you migrate it over to the live site. So now I'm going to show you how the staging environment works with Bluehost, the host that I'm using and I recommend. And what's nice about this feature is that it doesn't require you to download all your files and go into the FTP or go into the cPanel and do all this technical jargon and stuff that's going to scare you. It's point and click easy. It's pre-installed on your Bluehost website. It's very easy to use and it works. So let me go ahead and show you how this works, and I think you'll be pretty happy. Okay, so I have a Play website here that I'm actually working on doing some conversions with. So let's say I want to do a lot of changes to this website. I want to change all these images. I want to add some plugins. I want to go nuts with it. All we have to do here is go to the dashboard. And now because I have Bluehost installed, I do have a special plugin here. And within this plugin, there is a staging beta feature. Now that is pretty important that this is a beta feature. So I have had certain website installs where it didn't work exactly right the first time, but definitely chat with their support. They'll get you squared away pretty quickly. So I'm going to come here to beta. And now this is what I'm talking about. This is how easy this is. So if you don't have let me assume I don't have a environment right now, a staging environment. I'll destroy the existing one. Okay, so the first time that you log into your Bluehost website and go into the staging feature, you'll see a splash screen kind of like this. It'll basically tell you what a staging environment is, exactly what I said. It's easy, it allows you to make and save changes without your public site being affected. And the first thing you get to do is just click create a staging site. It's that easy. It'll take a minute because it is doing a lot of things behind the scenes, but it's telling you exactly what's going on. And good job for Bluehost. They're giving you some upsell opportunities down here, but just sit tight for a minute and your staging environment will be ready. All right, so we're back a minute later and it says our staging environment is ready, and it'll show you some details here. So it's creating a new website basically where wherever your existing website is putting staging and then giving it a number there to kind of give it an initial. And you have a couple options down here where you can clone production to staging or destroy the staging environment. That's what I did when we first started here, but we won't need to do any of that right now because we just created the website. So all we need to do is click go to staging site. And what this is doing is basically keeping a copy of your website like it is, and then it's going to take you over to the staging environment that it just created. Okay, and after a second of loading and swapping everything over, you've got two buttons up here to indicate that you are now in your staging environment. So this is not your live website, and I'll show you that in a second once we make some changes. We're now in the staging environment, and very smart of Bluehost, they automatically put up your coming soon page on this website. That kind of helps to, in case anybody happens to find your website, they get the coming soon on the staging environment, so they know it's not your real site. Okay, so let me just show you that by going to, I'm going to take this URL for the staging site, and I'll open this in an incognito window. And now you get the coming soon site. So this is basically your sandbox. You can play here, you can go nuts, you can break things. And if you break it, all you have to do is not deploy the changes. So let's go ahead and make a few changes here, and then we can kind of see what we want to do and if we want to deploy the changes or not. Okay, so you can do anything here. You can change the plugins, you can, create all new functionality, but for the sake of demonstration, let's just change out this image, this background image here and the text here, just to show you the difference between staging and live. So I'll edit this with Elementor, which is how it was built. And let's say I want to turn this from being a plant shop to being an online consultant business. So let me take your business higher today, and then we don't want the best quality plants, we want the best quality advice. And let's just get rid of this guy altogether. Oops, not that button. Let me get rid of this guy altogether. And then instead of shop now, we want to call this let's meet. Okay, I'll hit update here. And then let's also change this background image. We'll delete this guy. And let's just make it a gradient color. And let's see here. Let's make this like a green and a light green. Okay, so we have something going on here. I'm not that good of a designer when it comes to this stuff, but that'll work for me. So we've changed the images, we've changed the background. Now let me show you both sides here. We'll first view this page. And now this is our staging environment, right? But if we go to, let me show you the URL bar. So this is convert-com/staging/1227. That is the instance of the staging that I've created. But if I were to just get convert-com and go here, you should see that we are still with the original plants, the original headline, everything here is unchanged. So you can imagine this is very valuable if you're going to do a large sweeping change on your website. Like if you wanted to change one page builder out for another, or if you wanted to go all Gutenberg or whatever the case might be, you would want to be able to do a lot of changes in the background while still working on your website on the front end. Then using some migration techniques, which I'll be able to teach you guys in future videos, you'll be able to import the content that's fresh on your real website while you're doing the plumbing on the staging environment in the back end. And when you're ready, boop, bring them together and deploy the changes. So let me show you here. We have our staging environment. We've made some changes. Now let's say we're happy with everything and we want to produce this and bring this live to the real environment. So we'll just click on this red button, staging. And this will take us back to the interface that we were just at, where we created the staging environment in the first place. Okay, so we're back here on our staging environment and we've made some changes. So what we want to do now is deploy those changes. Now you've got three options here to deploy just the files, to deploy the files and the database, or to deploy the database only. Now I'll be totally honest with you. I don't know the entire point. Like I know there's differences in, here's some CSS files, here's a database that has images and post IDs and all these things. What I do every single time is I do deploy files in database. Whatever's working right now in the staging environment, I want to move that to the live environment. You run a risk if you do just a database only. Maybe you made a change to a file someplace that you didn't update. I wouldn't do that. If I were you, I would simply deploy files in database. It might take a second longer to do, but I'd rather make sure that I have everything working exactly right. So I'm going to click deploy files and database. And then it gives you this option here. You can either cancel. So it tells you, are you sure you want to deploy all staging files and the database changes to production? Yes, let's deploy. So it's going to take a second here. It's going to push all those files and make a replica on the live website. And then I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. Okay, so now it says files and database deployed successfully. So all we need to do to finish it off is to go back to our production site. So we'll click this button here, and again, wait just a moment while it's doing all the conversion for us. All right, and just a second later, we're here on the live website. So what we should expect to see is if we go to visit the site, you can see now we don't have that staging environment suffix on our URL, and you can see the changes are live. All right, so now let's kind of break this down. Why is this so important? Well, kind of like split testing and other tools that are available in multiple ways, you want to find the way that's easy enough that you're actually going to use it. And oftentimes, if the friction behind creating a staging environment and running things off your live website, if that friction is too high, too hard, you're just going to go in cowboy code, which is what they call when you make all the changes on your live website, and you're going to risk making a mistake, installing something that messes something else up, and having a hard time in fixing it. With this Bluehost feature of easily creating staging environments, if I know, if it's more than just posting a blog post or embedding an email sign-up form, if I'm going to go and start installing plugins and doing some crazy things or creating a new product and testing out a new funnel, I'm going to go ahead and transfer over to the sandbox environment, test it out, make sure everything's working like I would expect it to, and then and only then would I publish those changes to go live. That's just good practice. It's better for you if you're running client websites, because if you have a big change to make for their website, you don't want their website to go down, and you don't want to see all this work in process if you're going to a website that is not quite done yet. So if you have client sites, this is a great feature. Obviously, they may not be on Bluehost, and you might not be able to convince them to change. So you have to do what you can to make it work, but it is so worth it in the long run. If you'd like to give Bluehost a shot, let me show you their pricing real quick. I'm going to go to incomemesh.com/Bluehost. And this is my beautiful wife over here. Isn't she a doll? And there is special pricing. If you go through our affiliate link, you'll get it for under $3 a month, which is less than a cup of coffee per month. And you get all these amazing features, as well as many more that we haven't covered yet in this video. So I hope this is helpful for you guys. Definitely give Bluehost a shot. It's worth it alone to test out this one feature, because like I said, even if you didn't know about this feature before, now that you know about it, and you know that if you're building an online business, you need to take care of it. You need to make sure that you don't do something haphazardly when you get a great idea, right? In the middle of the night, you're like, oh, I want to try that. And you install it and you break stuff. You don't want that. So go ahead and do the big changes in a staging environment and use a tool like Bluehost to make it super simple and easy to use. All right, guys, I'm John from incomemesh.com. Again, if you like this content, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.